Hi, everybody. It's Gretchen Gordon with another sales success snippet. Now, you may not know this, but an awful lot of salespeople believe that prospects are honest, even though there's that saying out there, buyers are liars, and the joke, how do you know when a prospect is lying? Their lips are moving. Ha ha, bump. But seriously, because we joke about that and people have probably heard that, it gets discounted a little bit. But the truth of the matter is that an awful lot of salespeople do believe or want to believe, maybe they choose to believe that the prospect is being honest with them or the customer's being honest with them. And we might put our happy ears on, right? We want to believe the good things that the prospect or customer tells us. So what happens sometimes is that we just take it on face value, what they tell us. Something like, oh, this sounds really, really great, but call me back in a couple months. Or, wow, this is really awesome, but I'm not sure I have the budget for that. And so the salesperson immediately hears they want to buy it, but they don't necessarily hear maybe the underlying tone, and they don't really dig down deep. So what we need to do is help salespeople become more willing to get the other party to tell us no outright if they're not interested, rather than stringing us along. And what I mean by that is when a prospect says, oh yeah, this sounds really great, but I can't do it now. Or this sounds really great, but boy, I don't have that kind of budget. Are they being honest? Or are they trying to stall you or make you go away without telling you an outright no? And the reason I say that, I don't think most prospects or customers are deliberately lying to salespeople. Some are, most aren't. But what they're doing is they're trying to avoid the confrontation that they perceive will happen when you say no. They think the salesperson's going to come back and, attack them like a barracuda. So there's two things that salespeople need to do. Number one, they need to get the other party's resistance as low as possible, get them as comfortable as possible so that they will tell them no. And they have to get them comfortable to the point that the other party won't not tell them no because they're fearful that they're going to be attacked. So it's more of a consultative approach, asking better questions, setting the tone up front. So a level playing field of saying, look, I'm happy to talk to you. I don't know if we can help you or not. And I'll tell you if I can't help you or if I don't think that we're the right choice. But I would ask that you do the same thing for me. If you don't think that this is right, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me no, and I'm not going to jump down your throat to try to get you to do it. So you've got to set the groundwork up front, set the ground rules of how we're going to engage with the prospects up front. And then secondly, salespeople need to do a much better job of asking the why questions or the below the surface questions, as opposed to just taking whatever is said on face value, especially if the salesperson has a tendency to believe what the other party is saying. They need to step back, have a process, plan out their sales conversations so they can kind of take the prospect down a path and recognize when they're just accepting whatever the prospect says as truth. And an easy way to say that is, I've heard that from other prospects that, they really like it, but they can't do it right now. So do you mind if we have a conversation about that and find out if they're really, what has to happen between now and the time you'd make a decision? Or are you just trying to be nice and you don't want to hurt my feelings? So if the salespeople can learn to do that, that is fantastic. And in particular, with regard to price objections, same kind of process, really getting to the meat of the problem and being willing to talk about value versus cost. So that's all I have for you today. Remember that prospects aren't necessarily intentionally dishonest. They're just trying to avoid a conflict that they perceive will happen. So get better at drilling down, set the ground rules, and make sure that they're being honest with you. And that's what I've got for you today. So until next time, this was Gretchen Gordon, and that was my sales success snippet. Be well.